Hello, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me? Make sure the people can hear me.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Hello. Good morning. It's a Friday, the end of the week for all you wonderful people. Thank goodness. It's been a long week, actually. It feels like, I don't know about you, but it feels like February's taken a long time to pass. But here we are. We are graced by the presence of two gods. We've got Bad Friend here as well. He's going to be DJing in the background. Mitya, I don't know if you've had Bad Friend on in any of your spaces before.
Oh,
Oh, bro, you wait and see. You fucking wait and see.
how bad is it gonna be?
This guy's the GOAT. So he'll what? Bad Friend, actually, if I can ask you not to live stream your decks and just do the music instead, if that's okay. Just because we're going to be getting a whiteboarding session, so it might mess with the stream a little bit. But yeah, what Bad Friend's going to do is he's just going to play some music, some chill music for us in the background. He does it live. He mixes it live. It's so sick.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So let's
We also have Razik from our team on the stream.
Oh yeah, I see
So
him.
we can get him on stage as well.
Here we go.
So unlike myself, he actually knows what he's talking about when he speaks. So
Perfect.
in case I run out of depth, technically he's going to be able to help out.
So we've got the right man for the job. Good morning, Ratik.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, morning.
It's lovely to see you. Where are you two based? If you don't mind me asking, what kind of time zones are we talking?
Europe.
Perfect.
Different parts of Europe.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm the only person in Europe from the Initia team, so they all have to like change their time zones and stuff for me, which is like amazing. Like being the Europe one is very difficult because you know Asia, America, they've got it sorted, no problem. They can meet each other at the same time. As soon as you add Europe to the mix, it's like wow, this is impressive.
I mean, every two time zones, they can kind of work together. If you have three, yeah, that's where you're into trouble.
It sucks, but not for me. Like these guys, no one's staying up at 11 p.m. to try and chat to me. So good for them. Good for them. But yeah, let's get started. I usually just give it a couple minutes just to let people filter in. So good to have everyone here. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me again. Really appreciate that. Today we have a banger. We have the Drop Bros with us here today. This Mitya and Ratik. Have I said the names right, both of you?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. And yes, today you may have seen the announcement recently. You may have seen Initia talking about it a lot over the last 24 hours. But Drop Money have announced their new Init LST token, which we're going to learn all about today. I'm not going to pretend to teach you about it. I'm going to let these guys do all of the hard work. But we're going to do it as a whiteboarding session, in the format of a whiteboarding session. So these are usually quite fun. It means that we get to see how good Initia is at drawing as well as explaining, which I've seen the rehearsal. So we're in for a treat. I don't know what you think, Mitya.
I promise you that it's gonna be extremely ugly.
Oh, perfect. This is what we're here for. But before we get started, I usually like to start these off with just a brief introduction of, who you are, perhaps a short summary of your journey to where you are within Drop Money now. And maybe some previous experiences, that kind of thing. So yeah, we can start off with you, Initia.
So I'm Drop's co-founder. Before Drop, I worked in crypto for for a couple of years, mostly on the kind of institutional validator side. I was at p2p.org, and this is where I know a bunch of Lido people. And Drop is kind of a continuation of the story that was called Lido and Cosmos back in the day, but then we ended up launching this with its own brand and with its own governance, its own token and such. It's live since last August. And the first two assets that we launched were Atom and Tia. And the next one that we announced is DE Init, which I'm super excited about. I would also say Drop is kind of Degen LST protocol. We focused on the DeFi usage. We think that basically LSTs are as great as the DeFi use cases for them. And this is why we were so excited about the enshrined liquidity thing on Initia, kind of packing different types of rewards together that we'll discuss a bit more on this call. So I think that's a short summary.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Initia. I appreciate that. I actually didn't realize that's what Lido Cosmos was, because I've been in Cosmos for a while as well. So that's interesting.
It was. So my co-founder Kai, he used to be a product manager of Lido on Terra, which was not a very well-known fact, but Lido on Terra was the biggest LST before Terra crash. So that was like a $10 billion protocol. It was larger than Lido and Ethereum in terms of TVL back then, but then something happened to Terra. I don't know what exactly.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, we definitely don't talk about it anymore. It's hilarious how many people I now speak to that are like top of their game that just got their ass handed to them by Terra. So I think we've got some nice trauma bonding, man.
Yeah.
And Ratik, please, I'd love to hear from you as well, sort of your position in Drop and how you've got to this point.
So for now I'm team lead of protocol team in Drop. My crypto journey started with Sky in Lido on Terra. Then we built Natron, also with Sky, and then we moved to Drop, and here I am. Yeah.
So you've done it all. You've done it all, it seems. No, congratulations, man. It's good to have you both here today as part of Drop. Now that we've had a brief introduction to you guys and some of the people that make up the Drop team, it would be nice to hear maybe your elevator pitch. Like you're explaining like I'm 5. How would you describe what Drop money is to the general public?
I normally say that Drop.money is a liquid staking protocol for the interchain backed by Lido. We're also part of Lido Alliance. For the Init specifically, I think the key thing that you need to know is that it's a new type of an LST that combines two types of rewards: DEX rewards from ensuring liquidity on initial 1 DEX and staking rewards. So that's a pretty unique thing, and you just get more rewards in the shape of an LST.
It must make your job very easy when you're marketing this, eh? It's just more reward on a big token. How can you complain? Yeah. I don't envy your marketing team. I wish I had their job.
I mean, more rewards is, I think that's something that kind of found product market fit in crypto.
Yeah,
so that's what we're aiming for.
I think now then is a good time to switch on the screen share and
let's do it.
About your artwork. But 2, let's get into the details of this new LST token that I'm sure everyone here is. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Why can't I?
Bad. Can you turn off your stream? That might be it. Is he here? Let me. That bad friend. I hope he is here. I don't want to kick him. That could be why.
All right. Go live.
Oh no, you've got it.
Woohoo! Can you see it?
Yes, I see it.
All right. Yeah, so I just put a few pictures here for your entertainment. I think, you kind of know this already, but I just wanted to talk through this as well. So we're part of the Lido Alliance. There are like a few different protocols there. So basically, that means that we work with the Lido team as they're the big brother. We are the small brother in the in the family, and they help us with a bunch of stuff, including some of the kind of security reviews and general advice on how to build the protocol and such. So I spoke about it a couple of minutes later. That's how the UI works, and I'll draw kind of what's happening under the hood. But the key thing here is you guys can go to our testnet right now and see how it works. We put a lot of effort into making the UX as smooth as possible, and always grateful for any feedback. So you can just drop your thoughts in our Telegram or Discord, or in Initia Discord as well. I guess we'll see it here as well. So we have, I guess, some time before the mainnet to work on the fixes. So if you have any ideas how we can improve, we are listening. And another important thing to know about Drop, we're now running the so-called droplet campaign. So basically you can earn droplets, aka points, before RTG and maybe after TG as well towards the airdrop. And basically the more active you're in DeFi, the more droplets you're going to earn. And for DENet, of course, you're going to be able to earn the droplets as well. That's kind of brief overview. And here's my first drawing on this whiteboard. So get prepared for this. So basically what I wanted to draw, and we'll see if I succeed with it, is kind of maybe not on the technical level, but more on the conceptual level, what happens to the tokens when you stake your init tokens with Drop, and that kind of also explains where all these rewards are coming from. So this is your init token. So this is your starting point, and then we basically do it in 2 steps. Conceptually, there are more steps under the hood, but conceptually there are 2 steps. First is you have to provide liquidity. I mean, all of this is actually automated in the UI. In the UI, you just kind of click one button and that's it. But what's happening under the hood is first actually get to the Initia on DEX, and what you get is an LP token. So that's kind of the next token that you have to go through. I mean, you can do this just directly on the DEX as well, which is not a problem at all. What we're working there on the DEX is an enshrined liquidity pool. So here's my drawing of the pool. That's a very interesting pool. It has an 80-20 split. So that's your 20%, that's your 80%. I think Zoni said that, I mean, that's probably like a governance defined thing. So theoretically it can change a little bit. So this part is USDC. So you have 20% of USDC and you have 80% of init in the pool. And I think this is really good because if you just hold your position in the pool, that's actually pretty close to just holding init token. But then you're providing liquidity, so that means that you earn rewards. And where do we put? So let's put rewards here. So first type of the rewards that you're getting is DEX rewards or DEX fees. DEX. Oh, yeah. So these are rewards from the DEX. Why we chose this pool is because this is kind of the most fundamental pool for any ecosystem. So it connects your init token to USDC. And basically anyone who wants to swap between init and USDC on chain is at the end of the day going through this pool. So that's kind of the most important one for init token to be really liquid. Then it's the most important one for the DeFi partners, such as lending protocols, because if you're trading a lot and you get liquidated, at the end of the day, you're going through this pool as well. So basically, this pool is used a lot in many activities, and this is why it also gets a lot of rewards, because like trading happens through this pool. And this is why these DEX rewards are potentially meaningful, even on their own. But then what we do next, because this is an enshrined liquidity pool, then we do one more step. And this one more step gets you between your LP token, which means just a token that represents your position in the pool. That gets you from this to D, which is for drop, E for enshrined, and then init. That's our LST. I think my drawing is actually getting a little bit better. What do you think?
No, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of it's like expert. It's surgeon precision right now. I don't know what's going on.
Right. So what actually happens here? So this thing just got staked. So this is your stake. So technically, that just means that this LP token is staked. So normally in proof of stake, you just stake native tokens of the ecosystems. So on Cosmos Hub, you stake Atom. That's kind of the OG proof of staked asset. Now after the merge in Ethereum, you stake your ETH, here you can stake LP tokens. That's really the unique thing. So then you mint your DE init token, and this is where you get the second part of the rewards, which is staking rewards. So these are the rewards that I'm getting from staking. And now you get this LST that combines this and this, but otherwise you can use it as any other LST. I think there is a kind of an interesting part to that is it also has like 20% of USDC in this kind of underlying mix of assets that it represents. So that means that it follows init price closely, but it also kind of I don't know if you can call it hedging, but it has a bit of a USD cushion to it, but also it receives these additional rewards. So in terms of the bet that you're making, it's I think slightly more conservative than just holding init token, because you kind of putting your risks in the different buckets. Not financial advice, of course. Do your own research on this.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt there, but that's not even something that I'd considered. Like, this is something that I read the tweets that you guys put out yesterday, and I was pretty excited by this, like this whole new kind of LP liquid stake token. Like, that's something that is interesting. It's quite new. It's quite out of the box. But this whole, like, the fact that you have, even if it is just 20%, which it probably will be to begin with, but like we said, it's by governance. But let's say it was 50%, let's say it was 10%, whatever the number might be. The fact that you have a very small portion of it as that USDC, that was kind of, I guess it helps with the volatility, right? Like, you have a small amount in USDC, and it just makes you slightly more neutral to the markets. Perhaps a little less risk averse in a market that is, you know, as we know, can move up and down 50% in a day. So just having that small buffer might help to attract slightly more liquidity than it would if it was just simply in it, because, you know, you now tailor slightly more towards like a risk averse trader. Although let's be honest, nobody in crypto is risk averse. That's for certain.
Yeah. I think it's a bit of a just a bit of a different balance of risk that you're taking. Like, all of us are taking risks here. Speaking of risk, I think one thing that you should be aware of is like any LP position is subject to so-called impermanent loss. I'll put it here, impermanent loss, meaning that like here, kind of your assets rebalance so that they also have this 20/80 split. So for instance, in the case where init goes up a lot, some of your init also is getting kind of getting swapped into USDC on the way. And so if you enter this position when like init to USDC ratio is X and you exit the position when your init to USDC ratio is Y, you kind of exit at a slightly different point, and you're gonna have a different amount of init tokens in that case. So just be aware of that. I think like with 80-20 split, arguably it's a lower risk than with normal 50-50 split. That's what I like about it as well. But still, something to be aware of. And the whole point is that, yeah, there's this additional kind of risk component, but you also get the DEX rewards and you get the staking rewards that come on top of it. And also, for now, let's say it's not going to be forever, but you're also earning these droplets from the droplets campaign. So overall, again, do your own research and make your call whether it's worth the risk. But basically, like the whole design of the Initia ecosystem and also droplets, these are kind of all the factors that counterweight all the kind of potential risk that's happening there. Overall, like it's kind of an interesting thing because it's a Degen LST, but it's also kind of very deep, kind of at the heart of the ecosystem because of this thing that I explained in the beginning. So like a lot of DEX trading is going to be happening through this pool. So it's kind of, I would argue that that's the main pool on the DEX. And if you look at, for instance, at the Ethereum ecosystem, I'm pretty sure that ETH USDC is the biggest pool there. It's about $200 million. So that's kind of, I'm not saying this pool is going to be $200 million, but that's probably going to be the biggest pool or maybe one of the biggest pools in initial one DEX. So why don't tokenize it?
Don't, man. I can see a few people in the chat giving some of their thoughts, so I'll just say a few. One of them was talking about this impermanent loss thing. And so he usually goes with like an atom d-atom, because obviously they're going to track each other, and there's going to be very little impermanent loss but less droplets. What I think would be interesting for you to maybe, I guess you are kind of shilling this, but just the fact that because it is this 80-20 ratio rather than a 50-50, it does reduce that effect of impermanent loss. And so
yeah, it does.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think, and I'm really hoping I'm not going to say anything stupid right now. Because this is where it's kind of getting tricky. But I think the easiest way to think about it is just kind of get the situation to extreme and think, okay, like if this pool was 99-1, then it is basically super, super close to just holding init, right? So, and in terms of the permanent loss, like if it's 99-1, basically, even if the price of init changes a lot to the USDC price, at the end of the day, it's not gonna be super meaningful in terms of like what impermanent loss does to your position.
Yeah.
So like the worst case for permanent loss is actually 50-50, which is what happens normally. So that you always need kind of your position always tracks this kind of 50-50 balance in the pool. And so if one of the tokens in the pool change their price a lot, then you have to swap a lot of this more expensive token into your less expensive token in the pool, and that's kind of where it's problematic. So 80-20 is kind of in between these two kind of extreme scenarios of the pool composition. And therefore, yeah, like your exposure to impermanent loss is more limited here than a 50-50 split. But again, like, and there are also these kind of additional rewards that you can let's say can take into account when you make a choice. But I think it's obviously important for everyone to to understand what you're dealing with here. So this is why I think this whiteboard session is good, because everyone can kind of put a little bit of thought into how this product works underneath. And I actually don't know yet what are going to be the droplet multipliers for this asset. But yeah, what we normally do, like on the dexes where we list the other drop LSTs, we put a high multiplier to non-correlated pools, such as, let's say, the TIA USDC or the Atom USDC, and lower multiplier to the correlated pools, such as Atom Atom, because, of course, on the correlated pool, you don't have this risk. Or let's say this risk is really, really low. I'm not sure if there's a kind of... Yeah, okay, in case of a significant DPEG, I think you can say that there is some impermanent loss risk in the correlated pools, but again, they're correlated, so it's very low compared to non-correlated pools.
I think in the event of a DPEG, the impermanent loss is probably the last of your worries. So
yeah,
I think,
Speaking of,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. Just since we're on the DPEG topic, I think. My observation is that when people think about LST DPEGs, they kind of have this memory of STETH DPEG, which was pre-merge and pre-withdrawals on Ethereum. But when the withdrawals are activated, basically like DPEG for a long period of time and significant amount is not a likely event at all, because basically all the LSCs have arbitrageurs around them that use the opportunity in case the DPEG happens. So imagine you have an asset, let's say in case of D-Init, for whatever reason it becomes it price deviates from the price of this LP token underneath. Or just the price of like 80% init and to 20% USDC. So in case it deviates a lot, what makes sense for you, just buy this token and then withdraw it and get the underlying assets with a discount. And this is what arbitrageurs are doing. And it was not possible before the merge in Ethereum because the withdrawals were not activated. But for all the LSTs like the init, this happens like at launch. So there's no room for kind of the situation where you get your LST with a discount, but arbitrageurs cannot act upon it. The only reason why they wouldn't be doing this is if they run out of liquidity. But when one arbitrager runs out of liquidity, there will be another one who kind of takes advantage of it. And what we do with our other LSTs is like working with some of the projects in the ecosystems where a DEX liquidity is provided, so that they basically automate this arbitrage. I don't know if it makes a droid, by the way. Let me know if it makes sense to droid. So whenever the price deviates, there's essentially like a bot that does this arbitrage automatically, and therefore, there's always this kind of peg protection mechanism. So this is kind of what really happens around the back in LSTs now.
I think let's draw it. I think it's a good idea. I think it would make
Okay. Well, I don't know yet how to approach it, but okay, let's...
Trial and error is perfect.
Okay, so let's say... let's take an example of a simple LST now, because in case of D-Init, there's kind of one more step to it. So a simple LST would be, let's say this is a price of Atom. Atom price. This is like a column. So these are dollars. And let's say this is a price of D atom today. So for whatever reason, someone sold a bunch of D atom on the DEX, and D atom is less expensive on a DEX than atom. And let's say so I'll draw this kind of two dotted lines here, and then we can compare these prices. So this is what arbitrageurs are doing. So let's say if the price difference is roughly more than 1%, then it makes sense for them to do the following. So that means that they buy D atom with a discount. I'm doing one simplification on this diagram. If someone in the audience spots what is the simplification, let me know. There's actually this axis doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
That's volatility. So let's say it's more than 1%. So then what you can do is the following. So first you buy the atom with discount. And what is great about all the LSTs is because it's very easy to do the withdrawal process. So then, you withdraw. Effectively, you just got the underlying asset with a discount, but you have to wait a little bit. You withdraw, and third is you wait. Z. So you wait for the withdrawal period, which is normally 21 days. Actually, I don't know what's withdrawal period for init staking. Do you know, KP? What's it going to be? I can't recall it.
I do not off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's not normally 21 days. So let's say 21
I want to
days.
say that.
Yeah, and then you got your atom back. And for these 21 days, that's kind of, let's say, some risk that you take. So you cannot really do anything to it in 21 days. And you're not earning rewards for 21 days. So this is why they're waiting for kind of a meaningful discount here. And then once it's, in case of Atom, roughly 1% is your rewards for 21 days because Atom inflation is pretty high. So then, at this point, the buy and by buying the atom, they restore the balance in the pool. And this is why the price of the atom goes up again. So whenever they do this price goes up again, and this is the kind of this natural mechanism for how all this LST arbitrage works. Yeah. So and this is what we saw like when we launched our LSTs for the first time. First, we saw this arbitrage happening manually, so we just saw the accounts that started doing this, and then one of our partners called Margent started automated arbitrage on these pools. And this is why, I mean, you have to be kind of conscious of the fact that this difference normally exists. And let's say the higher the staking rewards and the higher the inflation and the longer this unbodied period, the higher is going to be this discount normally. So it's pretty normal for the LSTs to trade at a small discount because of all these things. So basically, now I guess now you guys kind of know all the ins and outs here. So it's not a problem if you see LSTs trading at a discount. That's kind of part of the design. I think for DE Init, we should expect a way lower discount than this, just because. Actually, I don't know. It depends on what the rewards are gonna be. So if the rewards are very high, then this kind of 21 days of lost rewards are going to be expensive. So maybe it's going to be around 1%, maybe it's going to be lower. We'll see what is the actual APY on the asset. Yeah, but then and you also can just withdraw it yourself. So if you hold an LST and you see that you don't want to sell it on the DEX because you think the discount is too high, you can just withdraw it and wait. And that's it.
That's perfect, man. I can only speak for myself, but that makes perfect sense to us. And I mean, this is a side of crypto that if you are pure retail, you never know it's happening. You know what I mean? Like, you never see it happen, and it just slowly ticks away. Maybe nice, $50 arbitrage here, $100 there, and it just ticks away every single minute of every single day. And yeah, I think it's just interesting to see it happen live. It would be interesting to hear your thoughts actually on, because I know you said that, or maybe I misheard, but did you say that you already have people kind of in place for this kind of thing, or are you just relying on the open free market and we know that this is going to happen because there is opportunity here? Or which of those is it?
Yeah, we have a partner that's a protocol called Margent, and I actually think that they would love to do something on Initia as well.
Sorry, is it Margined?
Yes.
Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah.
So they build these automated strategies, and what also is interesting is because it's an opportunity to put some of your capital to work, because these pools are just open to the public. So you can deploy, let's say, your init to the pool, so that this init is going to be working through this loop, and this will initiate the arbitrage. So in that case, so in my example, that was Atom. So basically, there's a pool by Margent where you can deploy Atom. Then your Atom is going to go through this loop all the time, and normally they have a pretty high APR on this pool. So yeah, I think that's one of the opportunities, just to get some yield on your assets that not too many people know about, but it exists. And especially with the assets that are, let's say, not blue chip assets. So basically, if it's not Ethereum, Solana, or Bitcoin, then like these arbitrage opportunities, I think they normally would have kind of higher APR just because they're a bit more niche. So yeah, I think it makes total sense to do something like this for Init, whether it's Margent or someone else that we do it with. It's just better than relying on kind of random people you don't know doing this for you, because it's not going to be as stable.
Yeah. That was part of the reason why I asked. I think it's. I mean, for example, I obviously used to work at Kajira, and they had our order book decks there, and it was like, that is, you're relying on a lot of arbitrage there, and you don't have someone immediately ready to do it. You could have quite enough swaps for, however long that period may be, and like that just, it's a real bad user experience if you're, for example, swapping 1% beneath or 1.5% beneath the actual price just because someone hasn't answered yet. So yeah, no, totally agree. I think it's an obviously very valuable service. So yeah, it's good to.
There is one thing that I mentioned. So what did I simplify in this Atom D-Atom price comparison? Because it's also relevant for D-Init. Any thoughts in the audience, or maybe KP? Your thoughts?
I don't know.
I won't torture you. So basically, this price are actually pretty different between Atom and D-Atom, and same is going to be for D-Init. So the way these assets work, they auto-compound all the underlying rewards.
Of course.
So when we start, like day one, let's we're drawing. So let's say this is the price of 80% init, 20% USDC. So just the price of the underlying asset, and this goes to the moon. And then the price of DE init is gonna start from exactly the same point, and then because it compounds all the rewards, it's gonna slightly then go further and further up from the price of the underlying, and then it's gonna kind of just deviate more and more over time. So just when you let's say trade them on the DEX, don't be surprised that your kind of get a different amount of the tokens. Or when you stake, like you're gonna start from pretty much 1-to-1 if you start from an LP token. But then kind of the more rewards are accumulated here over time, the more is going to be price difference between these two different tokens. This is, I mean, I think most of the LSTs now work this way. Again, for the ones that are familiar with STETH, they have two versions of the token. There is WSTETH, which works exactly like that. And then there's STETH that accumulates rewards separately. And this token design that I'm explaining here, like auto-compounding tokens or non-rebasing tokens, they might be called in a different way. They're just easier for the DeFi integrations because it's the same token standard as your normal init, let's say. Yeah, so that's why. When you kind of stake for the first time, for instance, and see that there is a difference in the amount of tokens that you're getting, that's exactly the difference. That's pretty normal. And over time, the init is gonna grow higher and higher in price in comparison to the underlying LP token. And speaking of, by the way, I think what is important to say that the whole process you can enter in two different places. So, when you use RUI, you can just start. What's going on? Why am I not drawing? One second.
Wait, yeah, press it again. Go to draw. I think you were like, it was going onto it, and then you're Now just click off. No, you see, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you can enter the whole thing here. So you start with init token. And then you go to this UI, so you actually can see this thing in the UI. You can pick which token you're using as a starting point, and then all the steps are managed by RUI. Or you can start here. So if you provided liquidity to the DEX already, but you haven't staked, you can use this token as a starting point in the process. You just say, okay, I have this LP token already, and I wanna mint the init on top of that. So
sorry, can I just ask then, if you start with purely init tokens, assume on the back end of your product, it sells 20% of it to USDC, LPs it, then stakes it. Is that correct?
Essentially,
not exactly. Yes. No, not exactly. Here we provide init tokens into USDC init pool as single site liquidity, and under the hood, DEX sells 20% of it. But so here we don't sell it. Actually, DEX itself swaps it like that.
And then because of that, you have like a reserve pool of USDC to go and do the opposite way. Is that about right?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
If you can you explain how you then go back from DE init to just init, like the other way around?
When you withdraw, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
No, so when you unbond the init, you will receive LP token, and then user can just unstake it from DEX.
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for that clarity, Rate. Slomo also asked like something somewhat similar, which I clarified in the chat, but it's just good to say out loud, is that you do have that option that the Ratic just said, where you can unbond, wait your time, unstake the LP, and then you get init tokens back. But there will also obviously be a D-init, probably a D-init LP, probably a D-init USDC LP. There'll be a bunch of these LPs that you'll be able to swap immediately from D-init into another token, either init derivative or just another token as well. so that you can, I mean, that is the benefit of LSTs, right? Like they are tradable, and you can move in and out of the token without waiting for this unbonding time as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess if you're, let's say, a rational actor, then as I said when I was explaining this thing, on the right, you can basically compare these two options and see which one is more efficient for you right now. So the prices on the DEX, they kind of fluctuate within this range here. And so depending on where the price is right now, you can pick your kind of points when you, and same for entering the position as well. So let's say if you enter through init DE init pool, let's say most of the times it's going to be maybe more efficient for you to just buy the init on the DEX once there is kind of enough liquidity on the DEX, rather than kind of going through the staking process. So yeah, pick your best way to get this token. If you want to kind of do this, I wouldn't even call this micro optimization. That could be on some scale, that could be meaningful optimization. So yeah, just kind of pick your best way to enter the position. At the start, of course, you just take, because there's going to be, like on day one, the liquidity on the DEX is going to be just kind of starting.
Of course. As with anything in DeFi, probably a very good idea for you to just understand exactly what you're putting your money into. So thank you for the time to do this with us, Mitya. I appreciate that. We on main would definitely have you on again, just to maybe do a little run through of the UI UX.
Let's do that next time.
That would be fun. And yeah, I mean, look, we've got another couple minutes or so. One, if anyone has any questions, please let us know. Yeah, slow-mo, that is exactly what I was going to ask. But we'll do that afterwards. I would like to answer your question on one thing. Which DEX are they collaborating with? Is what we've asked. So that's to you, Mitya.
Which DEX we are collaborating with?
Yeah, like which DEX and or DEXs, I suppose, are you going to have LP based on? Yeah,
so okay. So this is Initia L1 DEX. If you're referring to this pool, so like this pool here this is Initia L1 DEX on Initia chain, and this is the only DEX that receives these additional staking rewards. And so that's kind of unique thing about it.
To be clear to everyone else as well, like there will be no better liquidity for Init anywhere else. Well, very unlikely for there to be any better liquidity anywhere else but the initial layer one. So it's going to be highly liquid. Not necessarily, I'm talking about the Init LP here, to then go into the Init. And because of how liquid the Init USDC LP is going to be, obviously because of enshrined liquidity and zapping into Init USDC for VIP rewards as well, because of how liquid that's going to be, you can imagine that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for example, DE Init to bond, because people are going to have lots of LP around, and they're going to want to do things with it. They're not going to want to just keep it as idle capital. So that means that, the more of this DE Init that we have, the more DE Init liquidity that we're going to have, and you're going to be able to freely swap out between the two.
Exactly. Can I do like a small diagram for it?
Yes.
Do we have time for another one? So I think that's actually a pretty important point, and this is why I'm excited about this asset, because it's important for the ecosystem in general. So if we draw like the different liquidity pools here, so you have this pool which is so that's USDC. I just put USD here, and init. And so this is the pool that we mint this asset for, and then basically you can think that probably there's going to be another important pool which connects init token itself. to the init. Yeah, and then what is important for all the, and they work together. So basically, if you imagine you're swapping between DE init and USDC, then you're gonna be going through two of these pools. So like when you do swaps, then normally like all the DEXs or aggregators, they're looking at all the possible paths between the assets. So if you want to go between DE init and USDC, you're kind of going through between these pools. And when you use DE init, so this asset, so that's kind of the pool behind the asset. When you're using DE init somewhere in DeFi, and basically the more DE init exists, the more liquidity is in this pool. And the better this asset becomes in terms of basically like how good this is for lending protocols, let's say, to use, or for any protocols that rely on this as a collateral, because what they're looking for is basically like these two pools. So like for lending protocol, they're kind of planning for the liquidation scenario, and they're thinking, okay, can we liquidate this asset well? And their liquidation plan is basically to go between DE init and USDC. And this goes between these two pools. But more DE init you have, the more liquidity you have in this pool. So it's actually kind of self-reinforcing mechanism for the ecosystem. So if you like to think about it from the ecosystem contribution perspective, so basically if you hold DE init, you're also contributing to the ecosystem health in general, because like this pool is kind of used for the liquidations and for swaps, generally speaking, between Initia and USDC. And the more DE init exists, the more liquidity exists for all the liquidations and for lending protocols and such. And lending protocols, of course, are super important for the ecosystem. So yeah, that's from that perspective, we're kind of creating this core of liquidity and tokenizing this so that everyone can use this asset, but they also kind of doing something good for the ecosystem in general. I hope it makes sense. It might sound like a magic flywheel. I think it's just
we love a flywheel.
Good design of the ecosystem.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I appreciate it. There were just a few questions that I'm going to answer just because I have quickly. Kieran, who are we liquidating? This is talking about just third-party money markets. Like, for example, if Initia wants to incorporate DE init, that is what we're talking about here. Not anything part of Drop itself. Like, Drop isn't liquidating anyone or needing liquidations done for anything. But you can imagine that, given that LSTs are like a more liquid version and you can actually like borrow against them and use them in DeFi, then you're going to need some deep liquidity or some, a large pool of DE init for that to be able to happen. So that's good. And also another point, even on that part, is that you were talking about aggregators. A lot of these aggregators are also going to route through this DE init pool as well, if it's going to be like this liquid. You might end up with just massive swap APRs, and for LP farmers that want to do DE init/init, depending on obviously how many DE init LPs there are. Like if there's a DE init USDC LP, then you might end up with a swap through that. Init to DE init to USDC, loads of swap fees for the LPs that are doing this, and I mean, really, at that point, you're only exposed to init and 20% USDC if you were to do an init-DE init LP. This is like a DeFi god's like wet dream. Like they absolutely love to be underexposed to impermanent loss, but also high transactional volume through the pools as well. So it's going to be pretty fun, man. It's going to be good. Then Hassan asked, why 20%? Can we go more or less? So this 20%, the 80% init, 20% USDC, this comes from governance. And the way that it works, the way that enshrined liquidity works is that you, as a user, can propose an LP on the layer 1 to be used as enshrined liquidity. So for example, you could say, if you wanted to, I want init USDC at a 50-50 ratio to be included into enshrined liquidity. You could also do 33% in it, 33% USDC, 34% fucking Atom or something like that, right? So the only limits here that limits you from utilizing this as an LP in enshrined liquidity is just governance. And I imagine to begin with, it's going to be very, strict, I guess. I imagine that there's not going to be too many pairs added, and that, there's going to be a lot of governance discussion and debating going on regarding which LPs should be included. But 80/20 is the standard that has been suggested from the beginning, and we'll launch on Initia with. Just to clarify that, so it's not Drop that have chosen that. It is the Initia team and eventually governance as well. So I hope that has made that clear. We've got any other questions as well? How long is the unbonding period? I really should know this. It's very bad that I don't. I think it's going to be 21 days. And that is very standard across most tokens that I'm aware of. But as I said, that is bad that I don't know that. Unstaking period for Init. I will get that for you, my friends. Cool. While we're looking for any other questions, Jakiran said 7 days. There you go. Way better. While we're looking for any other questions, Mitya, it would be good if you could maybe just give a 3-minute summary of everything that we've spoken about today. Like, just I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe how DE Init is different from others and what it means to users that are here today.
Okay, so I think the most important things to know is, that's an LST as well, but it combines two different types of rewards and represents a slightly different underlying asset combination underneath. So in terms of rewards, it combines rewards from the enshrined liquidity pool on Initia L1 DEX plus staking rewards. And in terms of the assets that you hold underneath that are staked with the protocol, it is the technically LP token on the DEX. Essentially, this is 20% USDC, 80% Init. So this is how it's different from the other LSTs. And generally speaking, that means that you get more rewards and your position is gonna still track Init price, but it's gonna fluctuate in a slightly different way because it also has 20% USDC. It's now in the testnet. You can try it out right now. The only thing that is not in the testnet, two things, is MetaMask support and withdrawals function. But of course, they're going to be ready for the mainnet. So give it a try and give us feedback on any of this. If something is unclear in the UI, if you have ideas how to improve the UI, we're listening.
Perfect. Apparently, I got gaslighted, and it was 21 days. So it was. Okay, cool. That's brilliant.
Disregard this.
Yeah, you crossed that one out again. So we'll probably wrap this up now because we have been here for an hour. But I would absolutely love to have you guys back here, probably on mainnet time, when people can use this product. I'm going to drop no pun intended, I'm going to drop the links for the testnet and the socials as well. I can see you're hiring for a content marketing manager.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
If anyone in the audience is interested, let us know. You can work on some cool content. I promise to draw something for you.
Yeah. We can try and convert this into Twitter content. Okay, where is it? Here we are, testnet. So the testnet link, I'm going to pop it in here. Testnet link. Everyone give that a go. Make sure you offer them your feedback. Let them know how the testnet works. let them know how the UI UX is. Should be relatively straightforward, to be honest with you. I doubt many of you are going to struggle to use the product, but if you do, just let us know how it went and where you found particular pain points to be. We've got the article introducing DE Init here. Article for DE Init. That's there. Where do we drop the feedback? That is a very good question, Afna, and I am going to get you the drop Discord as well.
Yeah, that would be the best.
Drop, here we go. Discord. And I'm going to join as well. There we go. Drop Discord here as well. So, try the testnet. Leave your feedback in the drop Discord. Read the article as well. You should be fine. It should make sense. It should go over basically everything that we just went over. And yeah, I think I hope that after this call you sort of understand a lot more about drop now, and I know that I've already had DMs from some of you saying this is interesting. So this is going to be a big cook. I'm very excited for it. Enshrine liquidity, LSTs, some DeFi back again. It's about time, hey. I've missed DeFi. So
yeah, I'm excited about this as well. I'm really curious how it's gonna go. Yeah, so looking forward for you guys to try it out as well. Not a financial advice, but yeah. Still curious.
No, thank you very much for your time, both you and Ratik. I really appreciate this. If you have just any last things to say, let us know and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much everyone for joining. Thank you everyone for asking your questions. We had some really good questions today, so I appreciate that. We have the ZAR live stream in 5 hours. Is it 5 hours? Yeah, 5 hours from now.
Busy day.
Yeah, busy day. And we got another one at 7 as well. So we're in 7 hours. So make sure you come down for that if you're around. Me and the ZAR bros are going to be just playing around with the testnet and having some fun with CoinFlip or ZARFlip, sorry. And yeah, if you can join us, that would be great. Thank you everyone again for your time. Really appreciate you. And yeah, any questions, any feedback, make sure you join the drop Discord. I'm going to send it one more time. Join the drop Discord. Make sure you do it. And without
thanks for dropping the link there. Yeah.
No problem at all. No problem. And yeah, enjoy the day, guys. Enjoy your Friday. Have a nice evening. Get ready for the weekend. I unfortunately will be cancelling the community call tomorrow because I am off to Denver. So, Initia, you're coming to Denver as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm flying tomorrow as well.
Perfect. Well, I will see you there as well then. And for the Zion bid cutting stream.
Oh yeah. Stay safe, man. Stay
I
safe.
need to do that ASAP.
Procedure.
I'm looking straggly.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you everyone. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, folks. Cheers.
Oh yeah, we're gonna let Bad Friend just play out his set for another 2 minutes or so. So yeah, feel free to just mute and get on with your day. Take care.